Welcome to Meldon Law and Friends. I'm Jeffrey Meldon, founder and attorney at Meldon Law, and we have a great show for you today. The women's basketball head coach, Kelly Rae Finley, is with us today, and it is going to be a wild, exciting time going over all the magnificent things that are going on in women's basketball here in Gainesville. Before we get to that, I want to go over some of the events that are going on in the community so that we can help our friends. As you know, on Meldon Law and Friends, we try to bring on lots of different members from the community, some in business, some in sports, some in other things, just to help them along the way and let you know what are some of the great opportunities we have. For example, Winter Wonderland at the World Equestrian Center in Ocala is going on now until late December. For those of you that haven't been to World Equestrian Center, do yourself a favor at this beautiful holiday season and go out there. It's really a magnificent, one-of-a-kind, I mean one-of-a-kind in the world, horse empire. And they're doing great things there. From now to the end of December, from 5 p.m. to 9 p.m., Wednesday through Sunday, you can meet the real Santa Claus in Indoor Arena number 2, or you can see the Grinch in Indoor Arena 1 at this family-friendly event. And anyhow, it's great out there. Our good friend Vince is the mayor of WEC, as we call him, and he'll make sure everything is great. There's a tinsel trot race going on and lots of other stuff. So World Equestrian Center, Wednesday through Saturday, lots of live events, and you can really go out there anytime. The food is great. It's awesome. Okay, Gainesville Chamber of Commerce is giving out the award for the Business of the Year, and that's the Thursday, December 5th, Best Western Inn at 5 o'clock. Let's support our local businesses. Williston is having a Winter Wonderland and Light Up Saturday, December 7th at Heritage Park out there. It's going to be another terrific event, a great time. Columbia County, our friends in Lake City, where we have a great office. There's a holiday market December 14th. Great time to get some gifts. It's west of Alusty Park near the Lake City Police Station. They're having a huge holiday market where you can buy plenty of gifts. There's going to be food trucks, children's activities, and entertainment. We're having our big Christmas holiday party on December 14th out at Adena Golf Course. For those of you that are really into golfing, Adena is the most amazing golf course in Florida. I mean, they have huge drops and waterfalls because it was a lime rock quarry, and it's unlike anything else that I've seen in the state of Florida. So let's support them. Adena, Adena golf course. It's right outside of the city limits of Ocala. And for those of you that haven't heard of it or seen it, do yourself a favor and check it out and tell them Jeffrey Meldon sent you. Dance Alive, the Nutcracker. Whoa! We are sponsoring the final rehearsal for Dance Alive's Nutcracker for the Flagler School for the Deaf and Blind. If you haven't been to one of these, do yourself a favor. The kids come over in a bus from St. Augustine, and they're hearing impaired, visually impaired, but yet they get up on the stage. They put their hands on if they're visually impaired, if they're hearing impaired. they can actually hear and feel the music and the dancing while it's going on. So it's a pretty emotionally uplifting event just to see that happen. So again, Wednesday, December 18th from 5:15 to 6:45 at the Phillips Center for the Performing Arts at the University of Florida. Book plug, okay? Buying Florida Auto Insurance. It's free. I wrote it with my son, Kerry. It's a short consumer guide that tells you how to buy the insurance you need at an affordable price. It's a 3-step process. The consumer guide is short, but I explain to you all the relevant terms to find out what you need. When you buy, life insurance, health insurance, homeowners insurance, which is crazy right now, all these different insurances, you really pay attention to what you need. You should do the same with car insurance because in the state of Florida, most people are driving around with little or none as far as insurance goes. So I wrote a book and it's free. All you have to do is go to the homepage for meldonlaw.com or call the office 373-8000. That's 352-373-8000. And it's free for you. And it's our way of letting you know how to protect yourself in the state of Florida. If you came from another state, the laws are completely different. In Florida is basically, protect yourself state. Some other things exciting that are going on. We've got ticket giveaways for all the athletic events, whether it's basketball, gymnastics, baseball, softball. We are giving away free tickets. So I think that it's going to be a really cool holiday season. I know Ocala's lighting it up. We've got a parade in Gainesville Saturday, December 7th, and Shaquille O'Neal, whose daughter also plays for the Florida Gators, is going to be there. So anyhow, that's just some of what's going on in North Central Florida. It's a great time of the year. Support your local artists. Support your local businesses. We're here at Spurrier's Gridiron Grill. Behind me, you can see Coach, the head ball coach, Steve Spurrier's helmets. And it's a really fun atmosphere for us to enjoy. So come out, have a great time, and see what kind of trouble you can get out here at Spurrier's. It's a museum first and a restaurant second. However, the food is the best in town. So come and enjoy it. It's right here in Celebration Point, right off I-75. So if you're in Ocala area or Lake City, it's just a short drive to get here. Come here and see the magic. Okay, that's it for what's going on. We're going to take a short break, and we'll be back in just a few minutes.
Jeffrey, what are you doing?
Well, I'm joining the band, of course. Since Meldon Law is the official law firm partner of the Florida Gators, I want to help.
Dad, we're litigators. Let's stick to helping people in the courtroom.
Well, can we still hang out and jam a little bit? At Meldon Law, we won't back down.
I was going down a one-way street and a girl that was driving her car T-boned me on my scooter. I ended up going for an MRI and discovering that I had 2 herniated discs. Coming to Carrie allowed me to not have to worry about what doctor I was going to see or what physical therapist I had to go to. They say, these are the people we trust. You're going to have a great experience there. And I honestly did each time.
Call Meldon Law. Your consultation is absolutely free.
And I was in an accident. Someone ran a red light and hit me, and I was hurt. You don't know where to turn. Luckily, I called Jeffrey. These big insurance companies, they don't want you to win. They truly don't. But Jeffrey and his firm and the people that work here, they just really fight for you. You call the law offices of Jeffrey Meldon because you're going to need help, and they will help you.
Call Meldon Law right now.
Hey, Sammy, look who's there. Say hi.
Hey!
You again.
Meldon Law, Jeffrey speaking.
Somebody else hit us here!
Here we go again. Welcome back to Meldon Law and Friends. I have the privilege of honoring a good friend of mine, the Lady Gators women's basketball coach, Rae Finley, to our show. Welcome, Kelly. How you doing?
I'm good. Thank you for having me, and hello to everybody, Gator Nation.
Yeah, this is a wonderful time because the season's underway, and we've got so much great talent.
Yes.
And, I want to talk about that. Before we get into it, I just want to mention that Rae has been the head coach here at the University of Florida since February of 2022. She signed the 10th ranked recruiting class in the nation in 2024. She was acknowledged as one of the top coaches in the country over the last few years by various different services. We've signed 3 McDonald All-American players in a 2-year span. We closed out the 2023-24 season with Leilani Correa leading the SEC in scoring, and all kinds of great things are going on. So you're entering your 4th season as head coach for the Gators. So tell us a little bit about what to be excited about.
Oh, well, quite the introduction you got there. This is a fun and exciting team to watch. I think as the season progresses, we're just going to continue to improve. We're really young in terms of experience, but Rashea Kyle's coming back off of knee surgery. Layla Reynolds is back off of an off-season injury. So she's, 3 games back into her season, which we're happy to have her back on the floor. And then in combination with our returners, as well as our newcomers in Liv McGill and Miara O'Neal, our best basketball is ahead of us, Jeffrey, that's for sure.
Well, it's interesting because you're really focusing in on building a team, and in the new world of NIL and transfer portal, I'm always interested in seeing how that's affected the different coaches in the different sports. How has that affected you?
What a crazy world it is, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'll say, my interim year, so 4 years ago, gosh, college women's basketball was a heck of a lot different than it is now. I want to venture to even say the recruiting game isn't even close to the same. We're a sport on the women's side that is more closely related to men's basketball and football in terms of NIL and the expectations, the market, and the value that student athletes are driving right now is pretty astronomical. I'm proud of our team, though, and how we're trying to build things from high school and then develop over time. It's might look a little different, might be a little bit more unconventional, but we do really well with our skill development and building team cohesion, which is something that, I don't know, maybe in this world of NIL is a little bit lost, right? Especially with being able to transfer and play immediately and transfer as many times as you want, this, that, blah, blah, all the new things of the world. But, for us, we've had quite a bit of success recruiting underclassmen and freshmen out of high school. That's been good to us. But NIL is a huge deal. It's a huge deal, and we need all the support that we can get, most definitely.
So, what I know you have a strong background in recruiting. I know, let's see, you were where, at Harvard, Arizona State. You were, I forget one other school, right?
Colorado. You got it.
Yeah. What are they? Are they the Cowboys or
The Buffaloes?
The Buffaloes.
We're not worried about them. We just worried about the Gators.
I have two nieces. One went to Colorado, and the other went to Colorado State.
Okay.
So
well, I graduated from Colorado State now, the Rams.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
So, our family's shown love for both schools.
Yeah.
So, about recruiting, and really, I'd like you to contrast, recruiting before and recruiting today. What are the major differences you see?
I will say, having been a recruiting coordinator for 15 years, previously, my brain is wired to kind of be in that recruiting mode, and so there was a lot of fun that used to be in recruiting and developing relationships with families and people and their circles, and investing time just as any of us as humans would want. And the relationship goes a long way. I'll say that was a huge part of signing our freshman class right now. Kylie Kitts, who's redshirting for us, she's a big-time player. But knowing her for such a long time, we were able to build that trust and that relationship over time. Same thing with Liv McGill, Miara O'Neill. But what is the biggest difference? Money talks.
Okay. Well, that's fair. I mean, because you have to realize what makes the recruiting good. So is it the same for Dawn Staley as you as far as money talks?
I've never lived or walked a day in Dawn's shoes. CJ worked with Dawn for a long time. I'd say Dawn has quite an advantage to being an Olympian, being a great player. When she first started coaching, it's pretty admirable. She was still playing when she was the head coach at Temple. How crazy is that? She was CJ's coach. So I can't speak to Dawn and what they're doing over there, but I will say, having built a culture and something before the age of NIL, I do believe is a huge competitive advantage.
Yeah, I mean, look, I would say there's certain parallels with what has been going on the men's side.
Oh, yeah.
What Todd has done, what Billy's been doing, that, you could see that the players are happy and enjoying being on the team and being on the court.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. I think, we have a unique environment with men's and women's basketball, being in the same complex. It's really, really cool. And then having the Hefner Center is really an added plus for us in terms of all of our student athletes being in the same area, being able to feed off of each other. I'll say Walter.
Literally and figuratively.
Yeah, literally, right. Walter Clayton Jr., he does such a great job of when he talks in a we and us because we're the Gators. And that's a huge advantage for our men's and women's teams, being in the same training room, getting ready for practice at the same time, talking mentality and mindset, and those kinds of fun things. Razzing each other just a little bit, some shooting contests, dunk contests, I don't know.
Yeah, for those of you that don't know, so the Hefner complex was completed 3-4 years ago, and it's one of the best football complexes in the country. That's what it was primarily designed for. However, they took the cafeteria and made it available to all the Gator athletes. Mm-hmm. And I think it's really cool because you don't want to be isolated. Yeah. I mean, you can study, you can, hang out with a few friends, and you can, go train and work out and play the games. However, the idea of having all the athletes in one space, being able to meet each other, and I'm sure there's going to be some marriages coming out of that, right?
You would think so. I don't know. We kind of try to keep to ourselves, but I don't know. At the game last night, I might have seen, somebody or two, okay?
But think about it from the student-athlete standpoint, right? What a great way to meet other student athletes that hang out. And, if you look at, how people get together. The Hefner, cafeteria area is probably for the athletes the number one place, right?
I would say so. And the other thing that they love, Jeffrey, about that over there is that pool.
Oh,
So,
yes.
and you talk about the pressures and the stressors of being a college student athlete at this time in the day and age, and NIL and all the changes in social media and all the outside things that when I played, oh boy, thank God we didn't have any of that, right? But the pool, you talk about having a different lifestyle. Everybody's going to train, everybody's going to play, everybody's going to do the same things, but where I grew up in Minnesota, they're not going outside to no pool or any of that,
Right.
to just relax, kick their feet up and study, right?
So when you bring in a recruit, do you take them over to Hefner and show them what's going on?
Oh, absolutely. Might get in a little golf simulator, a little
Right.
pop a shot.
No, I mean, I'm so glad that we finally got this training center because we were 10 years behind the times with that. I mean, I went with the team to Alabama and got to see what actually was with the basketball team that year and saw what the football program had in their stadium. I was going, wow, this looks like a Hollywood set.
Yeah, we'd like to invite you on a women's basketball trip to see what women's basketball venues look like compared to the complex now, which we're very grateful for, but could use a little upgrade now, okay?
Okay. Well, look, I love Jeremy Foley, but the one knock he's gotten is he was late to the game as far as upgrading the facility. Look, the women's and men's basketball complex is nice, but there's ones that are even more advanced.
It was the first. It was actually, to my knowledge, I've been told it was the first basketball practice facility in the country. Mm-hmm. Premier.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it's still
About 25 years ago now.
Right. Is it that long ago? Oh, my God. Okay, well.
I know, it is 2024, is it not? Weird.
Yeah. And so, but that had something to do with, Billy Donovan probably, right?
It did. It really did.
Yeah, and Billy and Jeremy Foley were close, and I think Billy lobbied for it, and Jeremy said, okay, we'll find the money.
Absolutely.
So, but we'll talk later about what we can do to upgrade the experience for the student athletes. I think it's really important that we do that. Now, what I want to know next is, who are the women's basketball coaches that you admire the most and learn the most from?
That's a great question. I don't know. For those of you women's basketball aficionados, Sherry Cole used to be she's a Hall of Fame head coach from Oklahoma, and I just really always admired how she stayed true to herself, coached with her passion, but was really unique and different in her approach from a teaching perspective. And she's a mentor of mine, a friend of mine, and somebody that I really look up to in terms of not only game strategy, but everything that our student athletes are going through, like you were talking about. Creating a more holistic approach and a tremendous experience for them. And then the second person I would say is Kathy Delaney-Smith. She's a longtime Harvard University head coach, women's basketball for 40 seasons. 40. But yeah, she's the one who got me into coaching, near and dear to my heart. And there's just nobody better. I learned how to coach from her. I learned the things that were really important. And the things that are going to bring a team together, like you talked about, the men's team and the football team. And, a lot of them were at our game last night. And it's just fun to see that camaraderie, the happiness, the joy, the tenacity, and the fun that's played with on the court.
So what are the principles that you think you have learned the most from those two coaches?
Probably honesty, respect, and love. And I think that when you talk about those things, it's funny, we were talking as a team about some of our core values. And it sounds kind of like mushy, like, it's not competitive. But in fact, it's really opposite of that. Like, when you love somebody, you don't let them fail. When you love something like the sport, you're going to work your hardest at it, right? So it's not about, hug, hug, kiss, kiss, let me make you feel good, But it's about really putting your all into everything that you do, being a good person, being honest and trustworthy in everything that you do. And I think that for young people and just people in general these days, sometimes there's a lot of fear associated with, what if I try my best and it's just not good enough? So maybe I just won't try my best, to keep myself from my pride and my ego not having to feel a little bit hurt, right? So that's kind of what I hope that you all see when you come watch us play.
Well, it's interesting. I was down in Miami. My grandson, Noah, lives there. He's 9 years old and plays basketball.
Okay.
We're going to have to
Is
bring
he a
him up
shooter
there.
or what?
Well, he's the center in the team. Even though Grandpa's shorter, the doctor says he's going to be like 6'3" or 6'4".
Okay.
So for a Jewish kid from Miami, that's really tall.
Yeah, he's got it.
So anyhow, Noah is playing in the Maccabi games, and down there they had like 1,000 participants. It was amazing.
That's
and
awesome.
so he's on the basketball team, and they designated team. So he was playing on the Israel team, and they were playing against the U.S. team, but he knows all the players from the U.S. team because they're on his regular season team.
Yeah.
So he says,
So he's got the scout.
no, so he says to me, Grandpa, he says, we're going to lose. He said, this other team, I know all the players, they're on my team. They're better than our players. I said, well, Noah, I said, sometimes, I said, the team with the best players doesn't always win.
That's right.
Okay. And I said, you have to believe it before you can achieve it.
Absolutely.
So I had this pep talk with him, and his team was down, and then all of a sudden they roared back and they won the game.
Oh!
And he was dancing around, celebrating like I knew we were going to win, right?
Of course he was. Of course.
But that can happen in as you go up in other sports.
Yeah, and we talk about it a lot, about the better team. Why did you choose to play a team sport as opposed to an individual sport, right? And the strength of the team. And we've got these links and these chains, and a lot of times people always talk about, the chain or the link is only as strong as its weakest link. Well, really, that chain is as strong as the people in it make it, right? And so oftentimes in basketball that happens. That happens a lot.
Yeah. Well, you know what? We spend a lot of time at Meldon Law on team building.
Yep.
We've grown a lot, and one of the things that we've learned is just because you're a really top producer as far as what your job is, we let those people go if they don't buy into the team.
Yeah, absolutely.
Have you had to deal with that?
Yeah, I think every coach in the country has had to deal with something like that. I think it's a really difficult spot to be in. So it's a place that you really hope that you're never in, right? But the strength of the team, like we were just talking about, the strength of the links is just in each of the individuals and the buy-in to what you're trying to do collectively. If not, let's go run track, let's go play tennis, singles, let's go do something that's more individualistic, right? But yeah, for us, I was pleased. We were much more competitive last night because we were much more aggressive as a unit, right, on both ends of the floor. So yeah, that's something that we deal with a lot, but team building is something that we, in our women's basketball program, we work on weekly. We work on it in small groups, we work on it as large groups, we talk very openly about it, whether it's understanding chemistry on the court, how each other moves. That's why more experienced teams tend to be a little bit better, right?
Right.
Or off the court, and how do you prepare for a game? What do you like to do to fill your cup? How do you get recharged? How do you, charge your battery? So like plug that cell phone in, you charge it. You got to charge your battery for yourself too, right? I think that's something that every student athlete can understand and relate to for sure.
What are some books that you feel have influenced you?
Oh, good question. I really like The 4 Agreements. I'm not sure if you've ever read that. It's a great book.
I'm familiar with
Familiar,
it.
yeah. And I'm currently reading Relentless. It's a mental training coach that trained Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan, just on what is being relentless. What does that look like?
Oh, I know him personally.
Ah, really?
Yeah.
Yeah,
What's his
great.
name again? I forget.
Oh
his name.
gosh, I know you're
But-
gonna call
but-
me out
but-
on it.
But
Come
I
on,
was
Jeffrey.
in Atlanta, and we met 2 or 3 times now.
Yeah.
The last time we met, he said, "Let's go smoke a cigar together," and we sat down and had a drink and smoked a cigar.
Fascinating, right?
And so I know his story really well.
Yeah.
And he's like, awesome.
Well, it's funny because we always talk about how we train physically, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we're going to work out for this many hours. We're going to do this. We're going to put up this many shots. And I think our student athletes sometimes get tired of me saying, if you trained your mind like you train your body, how much better you will be, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like your brain is such a strong muscle. And we always talk about like, okay, what's going to happen to your bicep if you don't work your bicep? What's going to happen to your ball handling if you don't work on your ball handling? It's going to atrophy. You're going to forget how to ball handle. It's not going to be as good, right?
Mm-hmm.
So working on the mental training part of the game is just so important, not only for the game, but for life. Because adversity is going to come. What's your response and how resilient are you going to be, right?
One of the keystone books that we have in the office is called No Ego.
Okay.
And great author, Cy Wakeman, wrote this. And it's no BMW, no bitching, moaning, or whining. Okay.
We might need that book. I like that.
Okay, and
That's good.
and she developed that. She was in HR position for a large firm, not a law firm, but some other, I think, medical field.
Yeah.
And she wound up finding challenges, and everybody would complain about this and this and this isn't right and this and we need this and right. And so she said, okay, if you got a complaint, instead of just complaining, write up 3 possible alternatives to do it better, and then tell me which one of those 3 you prefer.
Right.
Okay.
We call that solutions.
Solution.
I'm hearing too many problems or challenges, not enough solutions. Okay.
Yeah. So all of a sudden it empowers the team to have valuable input.
Absolutely.
And then you actually may get some really good ideas from it. Some of the best ideas we've had have come from the team members who understand things that we don't because we may not be doing their exact job.
Absolutely. I think collaboration is key in that, especially in college athletics these days, right? Teaching to have a voice, teaching to find solutions. What does that look like? And not just, we can't, nobody cares. Come on, what do we got to do, right?
Yeah, well, it's like, okay, how do we get to where we want to be?
Yeah.
And how can we, do it together? Everybody has a voice. However, the voice isn't that so-and-so isn't doing her part or whatever.
And we've talked a lot as a team about, many times you want to take yourself out of the environment, say, point fingers, right? Mm-hmm. Well, you are the environment that you create, especially within the team aspect, whether it's a business or a sport or no matter what it is. So, the age-old, your grass isn't always greener. It's like, no, we got to water the grass right where we are because you can make a change. Yes, of course you can, but you're very much a part of the environment that you're in. What are you doing to affect it? And that accountability is huge.
Well, as the head coach, it's like, what behavior do you allow?
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
And then how do you teach and empower your student athletes and your staff members to create the environment that you want, that you hope for? Because, I've told them all the time, it always comes back on me. That's my responsibility, right? Mm-hmm. That's the responsibility of a leader. However, I don't have eyes at your apartment, and I don't have eyes at the grocery store or the dining hall or, those things.
And you're not 18 years old.
Yeah, exactly. But that goes back to, okay, what are our core values and what does this look like? We had a good conversation as a team the other day, and Layla had a good point. She said, well, actually, could you show us some examples of what that looks like? Mm-hmm. And we were talking specifically about adversity on the court. And what does that sound like, and what should it look like? It's a great question. Many times, how are you supposed to know if you've never seen it, right? But that's your job as a coach and as a head coach to make sure that you're empowering but teaching as well and showing them what this should look like and modeling that as well.
So how is it being a head coach in the toughest conference in the country?
I don't know. I have a hat on today. Sorry, guys. I had fully intended on doing my hair, and well, this is what it is. And we got a game in 2 days. We play Clemson on the road. We leave out tomorrow. It's a great challenge, but it's everything that you dream of as a competitor, right? If you want to be the best, you got to beat the best. And like we were talking about in team building, and what is our process, and what's our growth as a program, and how many years is it realistically going to take us to get there, and are we making the right steps in the positive direction? So I guess the biggest thing that I could say is it's fun, it's challenging, it's tiring, and it's super great all at the same time.
Well, look, in recruiting, I'm sure you point that out. They're going to be
Absolutely.
playing the best women basketball players in the country are in the SEC.
Yeah.
You're the only way you can improve your the quality of your play is by competing against players that are better than you.
Absolutely. And if you're a true competitor, that's what you want, right?
Yeah.
But for us, we have the highest net that we've had in, I think, about 10 years. Even though our record is not exactly where we want it to be right now, we've played better competition. We are hoping the plan is for it to make us better come conference play.
Yeah, I mean, I like watching SEC women's basketball because every
tough.
game is exciting. Every play.
Yeah.
I don't think there's a team in the SEC that sucks. I think every
No.
one of them you need to be prepared.
Oh, and absolutely. And with the addition of Oklahoma and Texas, you take
Oh,
the
my
two
God.
best teams in the Big 12 and you add them to the conference, and, well, here you go.
So what's your thought as far as how that's impacted not only women's basketball but all the other sports as far as adding Texas and Oklahoma?
I mean, it's extremely positive to have two of the most lucrative athletic departments in the country join our conference, right? Along with Florida and other schools, in the SEC. It only creates a competitive advantage for our league and our conference.
Yeah, I think that Greg Sankey has done a really good job of building the SEC,
Absolutely.
and that, it's been, for those of you that don't know, that, the SEC was, I think, 10 teams, and then it was 12, and then it was 14, and what, it's 16 now, I guess?
And now the good news is, I'll just tell you this, Jeffrey, that they finally did away with conference record affecting NCAA tournament play. So our hope in women's basketball is that it'll be very similar to softball or baseball, where softball, they had two teams that didn't make the SEC tournament, but every single one of them made the NCAA tournament. That speaks to the strength of the league, for sure.
I know. Well, so... this year, we're very proud at Meldon Law to become the official sponsor of women's basketball.
And we
at the
couldn't be
University.
more grateful. So thank you.
So here's the deal. I promise you, we're going to use every bullhorn that we have to get everybody in Gator Nation to come to women's basketball.
Well, we are so appreciative.
Now, your job is to win.
We got you. Okay?
Because winning brings fans.
Absolutely.
But it's like anything else, right?
Absolutely.
You have a top product, and then people want to come. I mean, look what Pat Summitt did at Tennessee. She built a 22,000 seat arena, basically.
Absolutely.
It wasn't the men's team at Tennessee
Nope.
that built that arena.
That's right.
So I've been in that arena. It's
Okay,
big.
so we got some work to do, guys.
So, I wanted to also mention, so this Sunday, listen up, Gator fans, at 2 p.m., we are having an all-kids little post-game layup. And let's see, who are we playing this Sunday? Marshall. Okay. So if at 2 o'clock, which is a great time, this coming Sunday, the Lady Gators basketball team's playing Marshall. The kids are free, 2 p.m. And after the game, all the kids get to go on the court where the game was played and do free layups. And Meldon Law is giving away a bag of goodies for all the kids that participate. All you have to do is come to the game, bring a kid or two or three or four, and we'll take them down to the court, and they'll have a great time. And I promise you, it will be a lot of fun for both you and for the kids.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
That's a Freddie Wiebe idea. So let's give credit to Freddie
Thank
Wiebe.
you,
Freddie. And we're here at Spurrier's Gridiron Grill. We have to plug our good friends from Spurrier's Gridiron Grill. This is the place. If you have a recruit, where do you bring them?
Right here.
Right here,
Absolutely.
right? So head ball coach and Freddie collaborated to create the perfect environment for both great food and for a good time in a museum. And it turns out it's one of the best recruiting facilities in the country.
Absolutely.
You know, they come here and they go, "Oh, Gainesville's not a little hick town. We have a nice restaurant."
Hey, listen, we're on the up and up. Come on.
We're on the up and up. So and I've seen this restaurant come alive. So I'm pretty excited about all of that. So let's talk about recruiting coming up. What's the vibe now? I mean, are people starting to see that your group and your team is competitive in the place that the top
Absolutely.
athletes?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it'll take a little bit more time, but most definitely, I think with the signing of our freshman class, our incoming class that we just signed, very, very talented, highly recruited and regarded international players, as well as one of the best junior college point guards in the country. Her and Liv, we really believe that they'll complement each other beautifully. We have the starting center from the Italian national team coming to play for us next season, as well as Australian point guard.
Is she tall?
Yeah, she's like 6'5", 6'5".
That's competitive.
But really, really skilled, and our forwards are really mobile, very skilled, very mobile. It's going to allow us to play a really fast, fun style of basketball.
Yeah, well, is that the style you'd prefer?
Oh, yeah.
You're moving it up and down the court?
Absolutely. And I would really like to be able to press for 40 minutes. We don't quite have the ability to do that this season.
Is that because of depth?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, depth and just different strengths of our student athletes and being able to play to what our strengths are. I think we found something that might be good for us last night, though, and a little bit of run and jump and kind of switching it up with some different lineups, which could be really advantageous for us.
Yeah, I mean, both the men's and women's basketball programs have really started, to improve. And I think Todd Golden will tell you the biggest difference now is his depth.
Absolutely.
I mean, he's got three killers, on the perimeter shooting 3-pointers, right? And then he's got the big guys inside.
Yeah.
And so you guard him inside, you guard him outside.
Absolutely. And having a 4-post rotation is huge. Being able for everybody to understand and know their role and have buy-in to that role is extremely critical in the sport of basketball.
So it's basically what you're trying to do is put the pieces together. You know where you'd like to be, but putting the pieces together takes
and then
time.
Retaining them.
Right.
Retaining them so that your vision can come together is
huge. You know what? In some ways, it's like the real world. And I'll tell you why. In the legal profession, right? We're always making sure that we're rewarding our talented team members, and we pay a lot of attention to that as far as key performance indicators, trying to figure out, okay, let's have some kind of measurement that seems fair across the board. And so, and of course, we've had people leave. However, lately, because I think of the team culture we're building, now people are trying to come to our firm.
Absolutely.
And then they learn our system and our techniques, and we like to say it's a process.
Absolutely.
You got to follow the process,
You have
right?
to. You have to. Absolutely. Absolutely.
And for those of you that don't know, it sounds easy, right?
Oh.
It's like, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Those are the 5 keys to our process, and we got to make sure we're strong in all of those.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, you're putting your team together, and it's not all there,
Absolutely.
right? And so then you go, okay,
How do we
what's
adjust?
the next step?
Yeah. How do we
Get
adjust?
to the next step.
What do we need to do?
What do
Yeah.
we need to do? So, I'm really very excited. Oh, I forgot to mention. So this year is the new Charity Stripe program.
Ah, yes.
Okay, let's talk about that. So, in the last 2 years, Meldon Law has been donating $19.71 for every free throw made by the women's basketball team and the men's basketball team.
We got to get our percentage up just a little bit. Okay.
So we've donated over $20,000 to Alzheimer's the last 2 years. Now we've decided to adopt and donate to the Ronald McDonald House, which is
Amazing.
awesome. Patricia and I, and my wife Patricia and I have been over there. Patricia has done a cooked dinner over there. And for those of you listening, if you want to help the Ronald McDonald House, just call them up and say you'd like to volunteer. There's a lot going on there. There's over 50 families living there whose kids are over at UF Health, Shands Hospital, most of them with life-threatening illnesses like cancer, leukemia, heart problems. And these families, along with the siblings, are being taken care of across the street over at the Ronald McDonald House. And it's an incredible program. They've just expanded from 25 suites to 50 suites so that they can...
I got to interrupt you here, Jeffrey, because we had the opportunity to go over there and serve just a couple weeks ago. That new facility is top-notch. It's really, really beautiful.
And talk about how it puts things in perspective.
Absolutely. It was really a great experience for our student-athletes and our coaching staff. Now, we made some cake pops. I don't know if they were any good. It's a little bit longer of a process than maybe we recognized. But, just the interactions with the people, just the perspective, like you said, we have so much to be grateful for, and we're very, very blessed.
Yeah. I mean, the challenges these families, I mean, they've got 2 or 3 kids. One of them, is in a life-threatening situation, but they still got to take care of the other kids. The family was, both the mother and father were working full-time. Now they're trying to save their kid's life. And the Ronald McDonald House, without the Ronald McDonald House, most of them couldn't afford to be, taking the whole family and moving them from another town. Because a lot of the kids are from outside of, Gainesville and north central Florida. So I just want to throw a challenge out to everybody listening. If you really want a great charity to help and great people to help, call up the Ronald McDonald House, and they will definitely find something that'll help the residents over there. And more importantly, you'll grow from it, because it's really an inspiring experience just to see what we're doing in our local community here to help others.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, that's
making
pretty
some
heavy.
free throws, ladies.
Yes,
Okay?
start making some free throws. So we're getting to the end here. Let's, talk about, something optimistic for 2025.
We're only a couple days away from 2025. Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Some of us, you and I, are old enough to remember when it was going to turn 2000.
Correct. And we thought that the computers were going to
sure.
crash.
Remember, what was that? Y2K, something like that?
Yeah.
And now we're in 2025, so here we go.
We made it. We made it 25 years. So what are some of the big, top of the list items for you in 2025?
In terms of
Well, you can talk about
Things to look
personally,
forward to.
professionally, and what's going on.
Personally, professionally, I'm a pretty private person, Jeffrey, but Jeffrey's a good friend of mine, so I did get engaged, everybody, okay? I know. And my fiance, he lives in Hawaii. He does come visit. If you come to the games, you'll have a great chance to meet him. His name is Sean. I might need to give him a shout out because,
Yeah, he's going to watch this podcast.
He will.
Hi,
He
Sean.
will.
How you
He's a
doing?
big wave surfer and a lifeguard out on the North Shore in Oahu. So really proud of him and what he does because we think, every day that what we do is extremely important. And no doubt it is. No doubt it is. But when you're talking about Ronald McDonald House, you're talking about saving people's lives and putting people in a position to be successful. It gives you a lot of perspective. So. Yeah, that's one of my new life things for 2025.
Well, I'm very excited that you were able to join us on the show. I think for those of you out there, my call to action is show up.
Yes, we'd love and we need you all there. We play a very exciting style of basketball, and more than anything, if you have kids, family members, we would love to meet you. We're very personable. We have great access to our program and our student athletes and our coaching staff. So thank you, Jeffrey, for having me and having us. I really am extremely grateful for all the support that you and Patricia provide for us.
Yeah, every year we have the women's basketball team over at our home, and we're going to do it again this winter. And it's really fun because there's such wonderful young ladies that are, building their lives and learning lessons that will last them well beyond their basketball career.
Absolutely, and we have 4 right now that are playing professionally overseas. So actually, fun fact, every player that I've coached as a head coach here that's graduated is now playing professionally overseas, every single one of them. That's something I'm pretty proud of, but their life skills as they still watch us and look back, going to your house for dinner is most definitely one of their most favorite times.
Well, it's fun because, there's real people that live in this town.
Exactly.
And they have homes and they hang out. It's different than the Hefner cafeteria.
Absolutely. And I think that's something that sets Gator Nation apart is just the family atmosphere and the hominess and the real genuine care that people have for our student athletes and for us as coaches and just sports in general.
Yeah, I mean, look, Gator Nation is really strong. Teams have their ups and downs, and absolutely. I will tell you, I've been living in Gainesville since 1970, and I'm so proud of the athletic program at the University of Florida over the years that, you're a big part of it, and there's many other great coaches that are a big part of it, and I really want to thank you for everything you're doing to help us enjoy living in North Central Florida in Gainesville. And it's great. For those of you that are out of town, we're so lucky here because we can just jump in our car in 10 minutes. We're at the game and
Absolutely.
You watch a game and hang out, and it's really fun. So I'm a big fan of the Lady Gators women's basketball team. Please support them, show up. You are going to be amazed at the growth and success of this team. I promise you. So thank you very much, Coach Kelly Rae Finley. And we look forward to having the women's basketball team join us over at the Meldon household.
Awesome. Thank you. And thank you all, and go Gators.
Okay, and that's a wrap.
There you go.
See y'all later.